I was groomed, and 5 years later, I'm being stalked by him. I'm a little spooked and want some advice on what to do. I 29F got caught up in a grooming situationship when I was 19. The guy was 32. I didn't know that he was married. He never wore a ring. Once the relationship progressed to the point where we said, I love you, found out he was married but separated. Yeah. Right? There was so many messed up stories to this part of my life that I have suppressed a lot of it. I managed to fall for every lie. Even when I would challenge him, he had an answer for everything. This went on for 4 years until I was 23. I don't know why I stayed for as long as I did, but I guess that's just what happens when you're abused, threatened, and lied to. So many times I tried to leave him, but he would stalk me to the point where I missed him. Yuck. It makes me sick thinking about it, and I'd go crawling back. Long story short, the last event that made me walk away and cut him off was when I got pregnant for the second time. When I was 21, I fell pregnant, and he did everything in his power to make sure I had an abortion. He was abusive and threatening, telling me I'll end my life if you leave. I promise I'll leave her if you get rid of it. I decided to get the abortion, and then he kept on with the lie of I'm leaving her, blah blah blah. Stupid me believed it all. A year and a half go by, and well, surprise, I'm pregnant again. When we found out, it's no shock the waterworks start, and his threats start again. I decided that I refused to relive the trauma from the last abortion, so I told my parents, and they helped me, and I promised to never speak to him again. That was all in 2019. I moved on and life was great, until I started noticing him everywhere. He knew where I lived and worked, so he would drive around near my street, and I'd notice him behind me when I'm driving. He lives about 20 minutes away from me, but he has a home maintenance business, so he could just be around because of work. But who knows? I've seen him at my local shops, and when he sees me, he will linger around to see me again. When that happens, I just drive to my parents' house before going home. My housemate Bestie moved to Japan, and I now live alone in a house I built in a new developing estate. On Saturday, I noticed a little envelope on my bench that my dad had brought in from my letterbox. When I opened it, I was alone, but inside was this guy's business cards. My brother lives a couple doors down, so I immediately ran to check his letterbox. There was nothing in there, so I called to check it wasn't taken out. After checking my cameras, it seems he parks his car outside my street and then walks down to my house, does the mail drop, then once out of camera's sight, crosses the road without dropping any more on my side of the street, then only drops them off to the houses directly across from me, and then walks past the other houses without dropping his cards. Call me crazy, but it's too much of a coincidence for it to be a coincidence, right? I'm not worried that he will do anything, but also who knows what mental state he is in. I'm just a little anxious because I live alone. Any tips, advice, helplines that might help me in feeling safe and comfortable? Relevant comments, DB Peace Cut. This is an unsafe person, bent on controlling and manipulating you. You are in danger. You need to contact the authorities and report this behavior. This is stalking, pure and simple. You'll want to check your car for any sort of tracking device. It could be magnetic, on the bottom of the car frame, or in a wheel well. You were smart to get away. Now it's time to put an end to it. OOP. Thank you for your reply. It's a weird feeling. I'm anxious and in denial that it's more serious than what I first thought. I didn't even think to check my car. I will check my parents too. Since I told my mom this morning, she's told me that she sees him on the road. He will even follow her to my parents' street, but then keep driving and not turn in. He needs a reality check. I've been to the police about him before, so it might be easier to get him in trouble since he is known to them. Anon Posterka. You say you're not worried he will do anything, but he has already done so much. In the past, and even this act is one of intimidation and stalking. It's good you have cameras. Reporting this to the police could be another option. Definitely letting family or anyone nearby, like neighbors you trust, know could be helpful too. OOP, I know. I think I'm just in denial and wanting to not think of the worst. I feel better now that I've got the camera footage and my parents know. We've made good friend with the construction guys building the roads in my estate. My dad has told them the situation, and they are disgusted, and and have promised to keep an eye out for his car. This way we know if he comes by without my having to check the cameras every day. Update July 12th, 2024. This all started from my previous post, LinkedIn comments. Long story short, I was groomed, left him, and now he has found where I live. After 5 years of no contact, he dropped his business card in my letterbox, only dropping them to mine and 3 of my surrounding neighbors. I wanted to go to the police, but didn't think I had enough evidence for them to do something. That was until last week when he drove past my house. I watched him turn into my estate. I was on my way home, and when I went to turn into the turning lane, I saw his car and immediately changed lanes, turning into the opposite direction. In a full panic, I didn't know what to do or where to go, so I pulled over and checked my security cameras. The timing was perfect because there he was, driving past my house. My house is several turns off the main road. It's not even finished. It's a dead end 2 times in 3 weeks. I was so scared, I called my dad and told him, so he came around and made sure he wasn't in the area surrounding streets. We ended up making the decision to go to the police. I was able to make a statement, and they were able to apply for an intervention order. I've had one previously on him. He threatened to kill me and my family when he chased me around my suburb, driving dangerously, stopping me from going home. Whilst waiting to hear that he had been served by the police, I found out that he was in fact still married, and his wife and their daughter, 12F, were currently overseas on their annual mother-daughter trip. This angered me. How dare he do this crap to me whilst his wife and daughter are away? Should I expose him? Or what should I do? I want his wife to know what kind of a person he really is. He has told her lies that I was obsessed with him. That's why I've been around in the past. It was so long ago, this guy needs to leave me alone. If someone was doing this to his daughter, I'm sure he would think this behavior is not okay. Thank you in advance. Relevant comments. Summerstar62. The reason stalkers get away with this crap half the time is because people are too scared to do anything or say anything. It's good that you went to your dad and notified the authorities. I personally would say something to his wife, but if he says volatile as you say, then you risk some kind of blowback on you. Can you be somewhere safe until the protection order is in place? Keep those cameras on and start a log every time you see him. Save everything. You may need it for proof in court. OOP, I'm tired of it. 5 years later, and he still won't leave me alone. It's gross and unsettling. I got the call already that he has been served and it's now in place. He's still yet to go to court. I was thinking I could stay at my brother's house a few doors down, or even go back to my parents' house once if I do expose.